Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, yesterday, me and DC Sanctuary were kind of setting things up for our upcoming collab. And one of the things we were sitting there talking about afterwards, we were sitting there just talking about like soaps or whatever, pretty much all of them. But one of the things we touched on is the Marshall storyline. And, he was like telling me how he was just like, he was so over it because of just how long they kind of dragged it out. And, I understand everyone's frustration. One of the key things we were talking about was the medication, was the fact that he was gone, he got arrested. He was, in a mental asylum for a little bit. And, the whole time, I keep sitting there saying that, let me get this straight. You're telling me because he was so embarrassed by, by the fact that he was, locked up in a mental institution, that he decided to leave his family for years and faked his death simply because he was embarrassed about being arrested at a protest and sent to a mental institution? Are you kidding me? And one of the things I did remember saying, I could have swore I remember saying it sometime last week, was, what if it was worse? What if whatever he was in there for was a lot worse? I remember having a conversation with DC Sanctuary, and I was like, what if it was a lot worse? What if whatever it was, he was a danger to himself and everyone else? A couple of times he kept saying that he was better off, like his family was better off without him, And at the time, Marshall and a couple other people kind of just looked at it like, okay, cool, some sort of pity party because you was embarrassed about your mental status back in the day. But, when TJ found antipsychotics and, Curtis was like, well, what is that? What is that for? Like, is it severe? Is it something serious? If it's something not? And, T just kind of looked at him like, yo, we're not going to know anything until he wakes up. And maybe that might explain the reasons why he left his family so long. Like, if it was something dangerous, then it's something I can get behind. And it made sense, when Sonny picked up the medication, he looked at it, which he probably shouldn't have been looking at it so long. When he looked at it, he was like, because, he suffers from bipolar, and I don't know if the two medications are the same, or they run the same family line, or whatever it is. It should be pretty interesting as far as his backstory. Now, there's something else I want to sit there and kind of address about the Marshall storyline that has been taking so long. When you really start to think about it, they are throwing so much at us. They're giving us so many storylines that a lot of times they'll go to 2 or 3 weeks before they'll start to touch back on something else. Like, they're now they're giving us more, into the Liz stuff. Yesterday, well, not yesterday, but Friday, I think, was the first time that, they kind of confirmed that Liz was kind of doing all this stuff herself. And, it's been something else that people have been complaining about. I know I've been kind of complaining about it a little bit too, but it's because they've been taking so long to circle back to the storyline. Which, again, this kind of goes against them as far as just having this bloated cast, but whatever. Now I want to touch on the whole Carly and Brad and Britt stuff, because here's the thing. When Carly was not there doing her little meditation or yoga or whatever the hell she was doing, and, Brad and Britt walked in, and, Carly was about to leave, and Brad was like, oh, let me talk to you for a minute. Britt was like, I don't know what you're going to say, but whatever it is, she doesn't want to hear it, and it's probably not a good idea. Sit there and talk to this woman. Now, what Brad said, and I think at this point we all know how much I don't like Brad. I don't like him. But what Brad said, he made a lot of sense. Brad was like, listen, don't let this be another AJ, you, and, Michael thing. Back in the day when they did their whole custody trial and they kind of kept him away from AJ. Then years later, they kind of reconnected and, it might have been a bit of resentment. And that's pretty much what Brad was saying. It's like, yo, listen, um, don't let it get to that point. Find a way to sit there and compromise. You don't want to sit there and get to a point where Wiley grows up and he starts to resent a lot of people in his family because they kept him away from Nina instead of giving him the choice of spending time with him. Now, granted, I understand both sides. Hell, to be honest, I start to really understand Nina's side more. Um, and so I get both sides. I understand why both sides are going the way that they're going. And, a couple of times Britt was like, you might want to kind of stop when you're ahead because she kind of just wants to leave or whatever. And then Brad said his piece. And then Britt said her piece, like, yo, listen, I get it. He was in the wrong for what he said. I get it. Nina did a lot of damage, but Nina is also my family. I get both sides of it. And, you know, Britt just kind of reiterated what Brad was meant to say. You don't want him growing up and him resenting everyone and, him not really get to sit there and know her. And of course, Carly was like, well, he's going to sit there and thank us in the future, that we spared him and this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, no one can sit there and tell the future. No one can sit there and tell the future. You don't know if what Britt is meant to say may come to pass. You don't know if what you're meant to say may come to pass. Um, it's one of those things where it's like it's unfortunate, but uh, I can see both sides of it, but I'm like maybe if it would have been a bit of limited visits, we wouldn't have got to this point. And I get all the crappy and terrible things that Nina has done. I get it, but it might not have actually gotten to this point of an actual custody war if you probably wouldn't have let her see him a couple of times, supervised visits or whatever. I don't think it would have been so bad, but this is the route that we decide to take. So okay, what we got going on? So Maxie and Nina get there early, and they're talking about the fact that Sonny is going to be citing, it's going to be sent there testifying on his behalf. Now, Michael and Willow, they're at the quartermain for a little bit. They go to the courthouse, and Michael overhears that. And I'm not going to lie, the expression on Michael's face when he was like, I'm sorry, what? Did you just say my dad is going to be sent there testifying on your behalf? What? He seemed like he was losing it. And he came in there and he was pissed off. Now Maxie's sitting there trying to calm down the situation, like, hey, we're all grown adults. Let's just kind of wait for the trial because that's what we're here for and what we're paying lots and lots of money for. So how about we just let the lawyers just kind of settle it and just kind of do this in court? No, we're just gonna do this like a bunch of high schoolers. That's okay. All right, fine. So they're going back and forth. And Maxie says something. I don't exactly remember what she said, but at this point, Michael was pretty much just like, yo, you need to just kind of just step back. And he brought up the fact of like, how would you feel if Peter was still alive and he wants to sit there and petition, wants to sit there and get custody of Wiley? I mean, what's her name? Louise, Like, what if she wants to sit there and he wants to get custody of your daughter? How would you feel? And I remember Maxie just had that look on her face, like she got really angry, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're angry. You might want to just kind of take a seat back there because this is between Nina and Michael and Willow. Like, I get you want to be supportive, but this is one of those cases you might want to just kind of just stand back. Like, she's a grown ass woman. She could sit there and handle her own battles. She didn't need your assist. Which is something that's really interesting. I'm sitting there thinking about this. I don't know what Maxie's connection is to Michael and Carly and stuff. I remember way back in the day Maxwell Smith is saying something along the lines of Michael's my cousin. I don't know how they're actually related cousins, but let's just sit there and say, for the sake of argument, that they're family in some sort of way. When she came to the courtroom, and Nina was sitting there thanking her, like, hey, I just want to thank you for supporting me. And Maxwell was like, we're family. I'm sitting there looking at this whole thing. I'm like, well, technically, you and Mike were family too. So why don't you, shouldn't you be kind of like split in the middle, or you just decide to just go with Nina because, plot? Because if Maxie is family with with Michael and Carly and everything else, then wouldn't you be kind of more split on the fact that you want to support both of your family? I don't know if they're blood related. I don't know how close they are. I only remember her saying that at an offhand comment. Um, this is during the dumb Maxie days when she was with Levi. Remember Levi, aka the first Michael, or the first Michael character. When he was little Michael with red hair. Um, Fun times. And she decided to sit there and join that idiot at the protest. And one of the things she was there saying, because I think Michael owned the building or something like that. And Max, she was like, oh, well, Michael was pretty much like my cousin or whatever. I'm like, is he like your cousin, or is he your cousin? Like, what's the status with that? Oh, good old days when Lulu was played by Julian something. Can't remember her last name. Something with a B, maybe. Now, some of this stuff I feel like was obviously filler more like background noise a little bit. Like Drew and Ned going at it. Like Ned came in there and saw everyone like kind of talking, and Ned was like, "Oh, that's not they're having another meeting without me." And Drew pretty much like, "Yo, it's the custody hearing today." Like, oh, I know, I was just joking. I was like, no, you weren't joking. You were literally sitting there thinking that they were all huddled up talking behind your back again. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you haven't been doing that, but the world doesn't exactly revolve around you. just throwing that out there. Um, but of course, they get into an argument. They get into a heated argument, and Drew Smith is saying things like, I think because Ned was like, well, I'm not going to be happy until I'm like running a company or something like that, and Drew's like, you have no experience as far as media is concerned. Like you're not getting some sort of you know paper pushing job. Like your job is very important. But apparently it's not good enough in that, so they start arguing back and forth in Brooklyn. The whole time that they're worried about her music career because now we're worried about that. So she kind of shuts it down. Drew and Brooklyn talk about um, her trying to get out of her contract. Doesn't really go anywhere. Doesn't really go anywhere. Apparently, Link sends her a little demo, and it was somebody else that was singing it, and it was like all auto tune and just butchered up or whatever. And Drew was like, well, people do, they do use your cover, they do cover songs and stuff like that, so you got to get used to it or whatever. I'm like, Drew, why isn't it they're telling her that she has to get used to people, you know, doing like covers on her songs? Like she's been doing music for a while. I feel like you're not telling her anything new. I didn't understand where I was coming from. I get at this point he's trying to grasp at straws because let's be honest, this whole conversation doesn't really go anywhere. Um, and apparently she's going to be sent there enlisting Chase into, um, I guess another Brooklyn scheme that's going to be, a surefire thing. So why not? Now Liz is at the hospital. They're running scans on her. They're running blood tests on her. They want to see if the sleep medication is have anything to do with, the fact that she's knocking Chase over the head and burning down studios and cutting up papers and paintings and all that other type of stuff. Now she gets up and she has that look on her face like, oh, well, I don't want to be here. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, where are you going? Like, you're here for a reason. Why are you even standing up for her? I felt like you're more comfortable sitting down. But honestly, to tell you the truth, they don't find anything wrong with her blood, so it's clearly something on a psychological scale. Now, I saw the previews, and from what I can tell, she pretty much is like, I need to be sent away. As far as trying to protect people, because she's feeling held guilty about knocking Chase unconscious and, causing a concussion. So she's like, yo, listen, I need to diss myself. Now I want to talk about Dante and Sonny for a minute because Dante met up with Sonny outside. I always find those scenes pretty interesting. Whenever they do like an outside scene, it's filmed so different that it just seems like you're almost watching a different story. And I remember the way it looked, like that iconic look, because I remember them doing that in All My Children. Anyway, so Dante and Sonny, they catch up or whatever. And one of the things that Sonny says to Dante is that, yeah, I'm going to be testifying in Nina's defense. And Dante is like, yeah, I don't think that that's a good idea. I get that, Michael's hella pissed off at you and he's reacting and he has all this stuff that's going on in his life and stress, this, that, and the third. And Dante's just like, listen, you need to sit there and just kind of take a step back, take it easy on him. Because at this point, one of the things that Sonny was meant to saying was Sonny was like, he's gunning after me. He's trying to take everything away from me or whatever. And, I sat there and I thought about it and I was like, what what did he do to sit there and try to gun after you so far? Like, I get it from a fan's point of view, and I get that Dante was like, just watch your back or whatever, which I felt like kind of wasn't a good idea because Michael hasn't been doing anything to be coming after Sonny. He's been too busy with the custody battle and ELQ to really be sitting there trying to focus on Sonny. He's been mad at him a couple of times and he's been disrespectful a little bit and just, angry or whatever, but he hasn't been actively trying to do anything to, dismantle his business or take away his livelihood or anything like that. So, the fact that Sonny was like, oh, he told me that he was gunning at me. I was like, well, Christina told you that Carly wasn't coming to hunt the star, and she came, and you wound up having sex with Nina because you thought, well, because Christina's interpreted that Carly wasn't coming, so you took that as absolute. Maybe you should kind of just wait to see what happens before you start taking one of your kids, like talks as like the absolute truth. Um, But yeah, Dante's like, yo, listen, just chill out. And he basically tells him, bottom line, listen, if you testify for Nina, your relationship with Michael and Wiley is done. It's donezo. Like that's it. Um and it really makes Sonny sit there and think like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. But now, Nina is not there telling, Maxie, oh, he even said he was going to testify, on my behalf and everything like that. And now it's like, so you might want to sit there and tell Nina to not have her expectations so high because you may decide to, flip back. I don't know. This whole thing is messy. And I also did forget to sit there and say, Um, when Brad was into talking about his new job because he was like all super tired, going to yoga or whatever. But he said that he enjoyed the job or whatever, and he said it was challenging. But he said that Selena's fair, and overall he thanks Britt for kind of pushing him in that direction. Now Britt isn't there looking like she's kind of sad or worried, but I'm like he seems like he actually likes the job. So I don't really understand. I mean, I get the fact that you are lying to him, that you're kind of going behind his back and, working with Selena to kind of steer Brad in that direction. But if he says he enjoys it, then I don't really understand what's the frumpy look for. I feel like that's about it for the most part. I didn't actually really even talk about this on my channel. I mean, well, I said it in passing, but Me and DC Sanctuary are going to be doing another collab. It's going to be the top 3 GH villains. Um, we're planning on doing it next Sunday. And then, DC has to do all the editing and stuff like that. So it's going to be a little bit before it comes out. But hopefully this time it'll be able to come out on both of our channels. We did one for Days, and we was only able to upload it on his channel. But hopefully for the GH one, we're going to be uploading on both channels. So, that's going to be coming soon. Everything's been kind of crazy. And to be honest, that video... we were supposed to be doing that video a lot longer, so I don't want to sit there and give an exact date on it, but we are definitely working on trying to do that upcoming collab. I feel like that's about it. I really do. I feel like that's about it. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. You know what? Before I go, maybe I'll put it in a little note thing. I don't exactly know how to form this question. I think it was more along the lines of like what kind of future collabs should me and DC Sanctuary do? Because so far we did like the best of worst stories, we did villains, we also did couples, which I'm gonna be honest, I felt like I was a little, I enjoyed doing it, but I also felt like I was a little out of my depth when it came towards like couplings and stuff like that, because it's not really my thing personally. So like as I was thinking, I was like, maybe we can do that on GH. I was like, I don't really know about that. I don't know. It was just an idea as far as like what kind of stuff we can do in the future. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.